Hey everyone, I'm Ultima456, you're the Ultimates, and welcome to another update video. Okay, first, yes, I still haven't put anything on the walls yet. The main reason is because I have an idea of what I want, which is basically, I want kind of like a big rectangular landscape shot of like a whole bunch of like anime characters, gaming characters, all that kind of stuff. Just like a montage, collage, mosaic kind of thing. And then I have two keyblades. One is the Kingdom Key, and one is I think it's Pumpkinhead. That one's made out of wood, but the Kingdom Key is made out of metal. And I just got them. I can't even remember where I got them. Oh, I got them from a shop that was selling like sort of that kind of stuff. And I want like one on the left and one on the right of that gigantic rectangular image. And then I've got like a number plate, like a car number plate with Ultima 456 written on it as well. And I'd love to have that like at the top or the bottom, and maybe just like a kind of like little figurines and stuff that kind of mounted on against the wall. But again, that's all time, and I haven't had enough time to do that. So I wanted to make this update video to give you a small update on what's been going on. That's one thing. Okay, the next thing, how I'm feeling. So obviously, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, there was an update video. It wasn't the previous one, but it was one before that, where I talked about how I was really struggling with depression. I really actually had like severe depression, and it was tough, and I hated it, every second of it, and it's now a part of my life. But it was, at least I think I'm finally past it. I think in the previous update video I said that I was either past it or I was close to past it. Now I think I'm pretty good. I seem to be sort of like neutral for the most part. When something good happens, I feel happy. When something bad happens, I feel a little bit, down, annoyed or whatever. But I think for the most part, I don't wake up, being like nervous about my life like I did several months ago. And I hope that continues because I don't want to go back there. People say, you become stronger for it, makes you a stronger, better person. I think that's true to an extent. It's hard to say for sure though. I don't know. I don't really feel any different than I felt before. And I hope that doesn't mean that I didn't learn anything from it, because I think I did. I just don't really feel that different. But anyway, it's fine. It is what it is. I feel like I'm back to normal, and that's the way I like it. Alright. So this video was going to be quite different actually, because things have changed a lot in my personal life. If you haven't read, like I've been commenting sometimes about it, but I'm working 40 hours a week now in like a real life job, and it's tough. It's not easy to do a full-time job, period. But to sort of have YouTube alongside that makes it even harder, because YouTube is essentially a full-time job. And it makes it really hard to sort of like balance those two things. And the reason I say that this video is going to be very different was because at one stage several weeks ago I was like, you know what, after Resident Evil I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't keep making videos for the channel and also do a full-time job. Like, it's just too much. I can't. But a lot of that was because of the pressure of the full-time job. Like, I wanted it to be perfect and ideal, and it wasn't being that way, and people were cutting corners, and I was the only one, like I felt like I was the only one working hard at it, and then the people that took care of the section while I was not there weren't doing the right thing. And not because they're lazy, I mean there's a high chance that's the case, or that's an extra bit, but more because they weren't being told specifically what to do. It's like, we put you in there, and then when you need help just call us and we'll show you how to do the thing, rather than like training from the beginning, which is really dumb, but it's just how it works. Anyway, so it went from me wanting to just stop completely to me going, no, I can't stop completely, to going, okay, what can I do? I don't have anything prepared, to, just constantly thinking about what I was going to do next. And now I think I've finally come up with something. I have an idea of like how I'm going to tackle this, especially because I've let myself fall behind quite a lot, especially in these past few months. I think the mere fact that I managed to get out like two series like Diablo 3 and Resident Evil, like I don't know how I did it. I honestly don't know how I did it. I look back at that now and I go, like, how did I do it? Like Diablo 3, yeah, it was like sitting there playing the game, talking. Resident Evil took a lot of like time and effort to get it as close to perfect as I could possibly get it to. But yeah, Diablo 3, I'm like okay with. I'm pretty indifferent about it. I hope like if people enjoyed it, great. I'm glad, really glad. I enjoyed playing it. I just felt like didn't really give anything. I don't know. That's just my own personal feelings. Resident Evil, I am pretty proud of. I think I did a good job, especially the first Chris playthrough, which was the second playthrough. That was fun. It went better than I could have expected, much better than I could have expected. Chris, very easy, knife only, speed run without saving, without dying. Like, it's hard to do. Like, it seems like it's hard to do, but when you watch it and play through it yourself, like, just play through it a few times, and you'll get it. So I was pretty happy with that. Anyway, at the end of Resident Evil, if you're watching, actually this video is coming out on Wednesday the 8th of November, and I'm filming it on Sunday the 5th of November, so I'm like 3 days ahead basically. But I finished recording Resident Evil about, I think, last week. In one of in the final Resident Evil episode, I talk about what game I wanted to do next, and I've decided on doing Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, finally, because a lot of people have asked for that. Obviously, I've got my kind of the foundation of my channel is like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, and people wanted Dark Souls 2. I also wanted to do Dark Souls 1 and Demon's Souls, but we haven't got like a remake for those yet, and I really don't want to do a PS3 version. So I'm just like hoping and praying that at some point we'll get a Dark Souls 1 remake or a Demon's Souls remake, because Demon's Souls is like, it's a lot, in my opinion, Demon's Souls is a lot better than at least I feel like I remember it, because I don't know, Dark Souls was just like so much better than Demon's Souls. But I played Demon's Souls quite recently and I was like, this is like, I love this game. I actually really love this game. So if those ever come out like as a HD remake or whatever, I will do those, or just a remaster, whatever it is. I'll probably eventually do those as well. But yeah, Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, that's the next thing. Only problem is I'm only like 20% through my first playthrough. By the time you see this, I'll be at least halfway, I'm hoping, through my first playthrough, maybe a bit more. I'm going to be playing it for the rest of the day. It's like midday right now, so after I record this video and get it edited and everything, I'll be playing it for the most part for the rest of the day, and anytime after work, trying to catch up and make episodes for it, and then releasing it as soon as I possibly can. I want to release an episode a week from when this video goes up, so this will go up on the 8th of November. I want to release the first episode on the 15th. That's like Australian time, so if you're in America, it'll be probably the day before or like the night before or whatever. But I want to release at least one episode by then. And I know I can do that because I've played it now a few times. I've done the beginning a lot because Dark Souls 2 is so much... I feel like it's so much harder to get used to than Dark Souls 3. It's so slow. It is so slow. And I almost like just gave up on it because I kept dying. I couldn't get used to it. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I cannot get used to this game. Like, how did I get platinum in this game already on the PS3? And I can't do it here with an extra, like with the 60 frames per second, which makes things more smooth, but not necessarily quicker. And the game is so slow. And then eventually I like looked up information, like what's the best first weapon? What's this? What's that? Where do I go? And after a few hours of trying, I finally figured out like a decent way to do it. So I could do the first episodes, probably already, but I want to make sure that I do the whole game so that I know exactly what to do and when to do it to get it right. What else? I completely forgot what I was going to say. Okay, anyway. Let me continue with the next thing. Oh, that's what I was going to say, yeah. So, for Dark Souls 2, for a short time, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this, but for a short time, instead of uploading daily, I'm going to be uploading one video every 2 days, maybe. And what I mean by that is that because I've fallen a little bit behind, I want to sort of catch up a bit And the only way I can do that is by limiting the amount of videos that I put up, right? So I can only make like 10, I'd say like 8 to 10 videos a week is pushing it, because I will only pretty much record on Saturdays and Sundays now, because I just don't have, I'm tired after work and I don't have the feeling to record during the week. So I can only record on Saturdays and Sundays, and 4 or 5 episodes is like the limit that I want to push myself to on each day, because it is really tiring. If you listen to, I was just like looking at my last episode of Resident Evil and listening to myself on some of the bits. I am like exhausted in that last episode. I am so exhausted. I was talking so low and just, I was completely out of it. Anyway, so I'm going to release 1 episode every 2 days instead of daily, but just for a little while. I will return to daily uploads, because don't worry, I completely understand that 1 episode every 2 days means that it's going to take me, like, let's say Dark Souls 2 takes 60 episodes. 1 episode every 2 days means 120 days, means 4 months. It's like 4 months for one game. Like, come on, that's way too much. So I will attempt to release an episode every 2 days for a short period of time, and then when I catch back up, when I have enough episodes like backed up, then I'll probably start releasing them a little bit more, and that'll be up to my own like decision, when I'm like, all right, today I'll release an extra episode, or tomorrow I'll release an episode, and then I'll wait another 2 days before I release an episode. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place, which apparently screws with like YouTube's algorithm or whatever, but I don't care. I need some time to catch up, so that I can, get the episodes out there. Because at the same time, also, that one of the things that sucks is that like I don't have as much time to play games that I want to play. Like, I've been playing Danganronpa recently, but I haven't played it in like a week, because I've just been focusing so heavily on Dark Souls 2. So, I want to have time to play games for myself, and I barely have any time for that as it is. But at the same time, I don't want to give up on YouTube. Okay, next thing. One game I haven't really talked about too much is Neo. I'm very, 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 very much still interested in that game. I really, really, really want to play it. But it is so big, and I cannot figure out how I want to do that game, because I have played it pretty much all the way through on a separate account. I played it all the way through. I loved it. It's great. It's fantastic. It's fun. It's engaging. It's like a really fast-paced Dark Souls with a feudal Japan background, which is just like excellent plus great equals amazing kind of combination. So I really, really like it, and I really want to play it, but it's just it's so long, and the platinum itself is already really long, but the 100% would take forever, and so I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I am going to do it. I think it would just be a tremendous amount of work, unless I start like working less hours, which could be a possibility. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but my understanding is that at some point in the future, I will probably be working less hours. I'd say like several months from now. I can't be certain, but if that ends up being the case, then it'll help me out a lot more, because it'll give me way more hours to work on this. But yeah, I can't say for sure. What else? Oh, okay. So there was a recent sale. I didn't get to talk about this too much. I talked about it in an episode of Resident Evil, but I didn't get to talk about it too much. There was a recent sale on, like a Halloween sale, and it was probably the best sale I've ever seen, especially if you're into like the survival horror genre. It was like a whole bunch of Resident Evil games, pretty much all of them. There was like Outlast 2, there was Devil May Cry, there was The Evil Within, there was, I don't know, so many games that were all on. Darksiders, that was another one. They were like all reduced because of Halloween, and I went on a little bit of a spending spree, and I pretty much bought all the Resident Evil titles except for 7, and I also didn't buy Outlast. And the only reason that I did it that way was because it would have cost me a tremendous amount of more money to purchase Resident Evil 7 and Outlast. I think just those two on their own would have been 95, almost 100 Australian dollars, just those two on their own. but then I spent like $100 on all the other Resident Evil games. So I now have pretty much all of them. Um, and another reason was because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to play Resident Evil 7 or Outlast 2 like anytime soon. So I was like, you know what? Those games are still relatively new. They're probably still going to come down in price at some point. If I get to them in like a year or two, fine. I'll have them even cheaper than they are right now. So that's why I decided to just go with like the old style Resident Evil games. So I got, what was it? I got 4, 5, 6, 0, Code Veronica, and it might have been one more, but I can't. Oh, Revelations 1 and 2. So I think those were the ones that I got. I also picked up The Evil Within, and The Evil Within is actually high on my priority list. It will probably be the game that follows Dark Souls 2. I'm not 100% sure because I know apparently it's really, really, really hard, and I've seen the like 100% or the platinum. Not many people have it, and so there's something Akumu mode, I think it is Akumu mode, where you like die in one hit. So I'm like, okay, here we go again. Like, you know, killing myself for a guide. But I think it'll make a good guide because like apparently that game, it's quite critically acclaimed. I was looking at like the reviews and there were high scores from a lot of the big gaming reviewers. So I was like, you know, I may as well play it. Yes, again, one of the things that's happening is obviously I'm going very dark in terms of my games. Like, so Diablo 3, dark themes, Resident Evil, dark themes, Dark Souls 2, dark is in the freaking title, and The Evil Within, dark themes. But I just, I don't really have anything else that I'm too interested in playing at the moment. I mean, there are definitely games that have a much lighter tone that I would like to play, but I'm just not interested in playing them, mainly because I don't have them and because it would cost me more money to purchase them and then to play them, leaving other games in the past, and it's just a nightmare. There's actually like I feel like I'm so overwhelmed because there is the unstoppable force of a myriad of games that has just been released in like the past 2 or 3 years versus the immovable object of a 40-hour job have just combined at the same time and caused me to just be like so anxious because I am just not being able to play the games that I really, really want to play. So it's, you know, it is what it is. There's just so much. There's so much. In some people would say too much. I think there's a TED talk about the concept of too much choice in our lives, and it's to the like is too much choice a bad thing? And you know, he kind of delves into that. Look it up. TED talks are fun. Speaking of that, speaking of TED talks, I've actually been watching a lot of YouTube videos just in my own time. So I have had time to like play games, but I've mostly been watching just YouTube videos just to catch up on like a few channels that I'm interested in, and I've pretty much caught up on it. The one thing I think I've fallen behind a lot on is movies. I haven't watched a movie in months. What was the last movie that I watched? I think like Jack Reacher 2 or something. So that was like, I don't know, 3 months ago. So I want to catch up on movies, and I've been keeping up with the podcasts that I listen to. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to catch up on, but I've been keeping up with that, catching up on that at the same time. And then once I've done all that catching up, it gives me a whole bunch more time to either play games that I want to play or to make videos for the channel. So I'm kind of trying to balance it out. I'm one of those guys that kind of like, there's two ways to look at it. It's kind of like you have like a balance of like, okay, I'm going to play a game now, and then next hour I'm going to watch a movie, and then next hour I'm going to go back to playing games, then I'm going to watch a few YouTube videos and playing games. Or it's like I'm going to play games for like 7 days in a row, and then I'm going to watch videos for 7 days in a row. You know what I mean? It's like you keep it separate, or you kind of interweave the stuff that you want to do. So I kind of go back and forth with that, but I think I'm more of I'm going to game, and then I'm going to watch. But I do try and get a balance. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Like I said, caught up on a lot of it, still a lot to go, but getting there. Are we done? Yeah, I think pretty much that's all I really want to talk about. I know obviously I haven't really given too much information about like what I intend to do in the far future, but that's just because I have no idea what's going on right now. I have a 40-hour job. I assume I know at some point in the next 4 months, 4 to 6 months, something will change, like something will happen. And I don't know exactly what it is that's going to be, but I know something will change and it will cause my hours to change. And I feel like the only way that I work more is if I get promoted. And there's a large part of me that wants to get promoted, but there's a large part of me that's like, do I really want to be promoted and work? I think it's like an extra 5 hours I'd have to work, so 45 hours in a week, but I would get 1 day off a month. I don't know. And there's also another chance of promotion where I work only 30 hours. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. But right now, I have no choice. I have to have a full-time job in order to make money, because, I mean, for me, the money, like, how much money I make doesn't matter to me. It's just that the world forces you to make money in order to survive, and it's just how it is. And I think it's fair. I think it's like, you know, you work a certain amount, then you get a certain amount of money, and then you can use that money to support yourself and get the things that you like. Like, the whole concept makes sense. It's just frustrating that it's that way, and then you can't do what you really love, which is, for me, playing video games. And yeah, I mean, but it's just the way it's got to be. You got to do what you got to do. So I don't know. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. So Dark Souls 2 in a week. My expectation is that I will release one episode every 2 days for a short period of time. I'm hoping no more than a week or two, so that I can catch up. And then let's say for example that it's 2 weeks, right? So you'll get 7 or 8 episodes in 2 weeks as opposed to 14. But then after those 2 weeks, it should go back to daily uploads, which will give me, like, I'll have a nice long, backlog of videos ready to go, and hopefully be close to finishing it. And then, I can just release episode after episode after episode after episode, then giving me more time to start the next thing and, do this forever. Ideally, I'd love to have like a Patreon or something like that to kind of, support myself and support what I'm doing. But I think I never kind of wanted to do that, at least not now, because I have like not no subscribers, but I have such very little subscribers that there'd be no reason to do it. I mean, like, people who have like millions of subscribers only have like 2,000 Patreon, so it's not like with my, what am I on, 774 I think as of recording this, my almost 800 subscribers, I'm not going to get enough people going like, here, have $1, here, have $10 or whatever. So that's why I've never been interested in doing that. Maybe one thing I should do is at least put a support button on the channel, just in case someone clicks on it, because I mean, money is money. So if people are interested in doing that and interested in helping me support it. But I never wanted to be that guy who was like, okay, well, we're just have money so you can just keep making content for free, like free content for us non-stop. I'd love to do that, but I'd love to get there sort of on my own merit, if that makes sense. I think I have high quality videos, but when you do like basically zero marketing, like, that's just how it is. And I never wanted to be like huge. I never wanted to have like 1 million subscribers or anything like that. I just wanted kind of like my slice of the pie, just enough to get by, and then, it's fine, because too much breeds like too much negativity, and I don't know, it's not healthy for anyone, I don't think. It's not that you don't necessarily need positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement, but I don't know, I feel like I do things relatively logically, and I've got my own structure, and if someone brings forth a very good critical argument, I will absolutely listen, and I will say, I was wrong for this, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Definitely I will do that, but for the most part, I think I get it pretty accurate. Apart from like my audio stuff, I don't know how to record my audio separately. But I think Resident Evil turned out really well, so hopefully that's good. Alright, so I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go, I don't even think I really need to edit this video, maybe one or two things. And then I'm going to play a little bit more Dark Souls, and hopefully get quite far. So, want to thank you all for watching this update video. I hope to have an episode of Dark Souls 2 ready in exactly a week from the time this episode goes up. And I hope to be as far into that game as possible to give me enough time to catch up and make more videos and content. Until then, yeah, it's going to be business as usual. I hope you're all feeling well. I hope you're all doing well and having fun with your life, whatever it is that you're doing. I'll leave it there. So, my name's Ultima456, you're the Ultimates, and I'll see you next time.